So I'm certain that you want to save more money, and having a weekly or bi-weekly savings plan can actually help you achieve your goals with intentional focus. And so that's what we're going to talk about in this video, how to create a weekly or bi-weekly savings plan that works. And before I dive in, I would love to find out from you, do you currently have a savings plan, and what is your timing? Share it in the comments below. Hey everyone, my name is Bola Shokumbi. I'm the founder and CEO of Clever Girl Finance, and I'm also the author of the Clever Girl Finance book series and the new book, Choosing to Prosper. Welcome to Clever Girl Finance TV. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how to create an effective weekly or bi-weekly savings plan to help you save more money to achieve your financial goals. A lot of times people focus on saving monthly, or they set a savings amount and just save when they can or when they feel like. But the key to saving money is being consistent, right? And so having that weekly or bi-weekly savings plan will help you with that consistency to help you actually achieve those financial goals that you have for yourself. And then when it comes to having a weekly or bi-weekly savings plan, there are actually particular pros about leveraging this type of savings plan. Number one, shorter time frames can actually help you focus on saving more money. And this is simply because you're able to make small aggregated progress towards your savings goals. So for example, you may need to save a hefty amount of money in the next 6 months or a year, 2 years, 3 years. And that amount might seem overwhelming when you think about it as a total. But if you're able to break it down to weekly or bi-weekly chunks, it becomes more attainable, and you can stay motivated using those shorter time frames to focus on achieving that big lofty goal at the end of your 6 months or a year, 2 years, 3 years, etc. So breaking your savings goal into chunks helps you stay motivated, helps it feel attainable, and helps you make that progress. And number two, it makes your goals more manageable. So, when you break down your goals into bi-weekly or weekly actions, they're essentially baby steps, right? It's stuff that you can do for this week or for those 2 weeks, as opposed to feeling overwhelmed by all these steps you need to take to achieve that big goal that you have planned out for 12 months or 24 months. Okay, so now let's talk about how to create a successful weekly or bi-weekly savings plan. Number one, you want to determine your savings goals. So what are you saving for, right? Are you saving for an emergency fund? Are you saving for a vacation, to move, to start a business, for a wedding, to expand your family? Whatever it is personal to you, but you want to determine what that savings goal is and what the actual amount you need to achieve that savings goal. For a lot of people, they tend to break their savings into multiple different buckets and try to save from multiple different things at the same time. But you want to be careful when you're doing that so you don't overwhelm yourself with making slow progress, saving for too many things at a time. Instead, what you can do is create a priority list of what are your top 1 to 3 things you want to save for, focus saving for right now. And then once you have achieved those savings goals, then you can reprioritize your next set of savings goals. So you want to have that focus so that you can actually track your progress and so that you don't lose steam. The next thing you want to do once you determine what your savings goal is and exactly how much you need to save is you want to create a timeline. So what is realistic and attainable for you? Can you save this over 6 months if you break that amount into 6 chunks? Or do you need to spread it across 12 months or 24 months or 36 months or beyond? Whatever is attainable for you is what you should plan for. And obviously you can take it a step further by determining how you can accelerate your savings goal by perhaps starting a side hustle, getting a part-time job, downsizing, selling things that you own but don't need to accelerate that timeline, right? To reduce that timeline that you have set to achieve that financial goal. But it's important that you determine a timeline so you know exactly how much money you need to save every week or every 2 weeks. Then number 3, which I've just talked about, once you determine the timeline, you want to break your savings into weekly or bi-weekly chunks. So let's say one of your goals is to save $10,000 over 24 months. You would take that $10,000 and divide it by 24 months and then determine how much of that do you need to save on a weekly or bi-weekly perspective. So if you have a weekly savings plan, then you need to save approximately $96 every single week to achieve that $10,000 in 24 months. If you have a bi-weekly savings plan where you're saving every 2 weeks, then you need to save somewhere around $208 to achieve that $10,000 over a 24-month period. So when you break it down, it becomes much easier, right? $10,000 sounds like a lot of money to save in 24 months. Like, wow, $10,000. But when you break it down into weekly, then that's only $96 you have to save, or bi-weekly, only $208 you need to save. So depending on what your total savings amount is, breaking it down into weekly or bi-weekly chunks can make it more attainable, make it seem more attainable, which in turn can make you more motivated to go out and save that money, because it's easier to think about saving $96 every week than to think about finding $10,000 as a lump sum, isn't it? One thing I want you to keep in mind is that it is okay to give yourself grace if you're not able to make that weekly or bi-weekly savings amount deposit every single time, because sometimes life happens. Sometimes you get unplanned expenses. You may be working on building an emergency fund and you don't have the money yet and the expense comes up. It's okay if you are not able to meet it. You just want to readjust, recalibrate, and then get back onto savings. It's really important that I highlight that, because a lot of times when you hear people talking about savings plans, it's kind of like a do or die. You must save this amount or you have failed. You have not failed. Progress is progress is progress. So if you get derailed, refocus, get remotivated, pick yourself back up, and keep going. So I hope you've enjoyed this video so far. If you have, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, stop by clevergirlfinance.com. We have over 30 plus completely free courses and over 40 plus completely free worksheets, and our blog gets updated every single day. Okay, let's get back to the video. So we've talked about determining your savings goal. We've talked about building a timeline to save. We've talked about breaking your savings into weekly or bi-weekly chunks. And then number 4, you want to build the weekly or bi-weekly savings into your budget. And basically what you do here is just organize your budget so that every week you have a line item, or every 2 weeks you have a line item in your budget that shows, I am going to make this deposit or automate this deposit based on my paycheck, if I get paid weekly or if I get paid bi-weekly. Number 5, you want to open up dedicated savings accounts so that you can track your progress for your prioritized goals, right? And you have a place to see where this money is going into. That way, every time you get paid weekly or bi-weekly, you can designate that money directly to this specific account and you can see how it's growing over time. And number 6, automate your savings. So you can automate bi-weekly deposits, you can automate weekly deposits into your dedicated savings account, and this will actually help you stay consistent with saving every single time that you get paid. And you may have the option with your employer to automate your savings. Otherwise, you can set up automation from your checking account to your savings account once a week or bi-weekly as well. So having a weekly or bi-weekly savings plan can help you jumpstart your savings, make progress on your savings, because as I mentioned earlier, having that smaller chunk of time to save every week or every 2 weeks makes your big goal feel more attainable. You can stay motivated, and it's easier to save smaller amounts over time than to focus on saving one big giant amount. So definitely consider having a weekly or bi-weekly plan as opposed to monthly savings or quarterly savings for those of you who already do that. No matter how much you're planning to save, make sure, again, you define your savings goal, you set your timeline, you open your designated accounts, and you build it into your budget, and then start to track your progress. I would also recommend setting reminders every week or every 2 weeks to make those transfers into savings if you are not automating your savings, but I would recommend automating your savings as well. Don't forget to hit the like button if you've enjoyed watching this video. Subscribe to this channel, visit clevergirlfinance.com, check out our over 30 plus completely free courses and our over 40 plus completely free worksheets, and check out the Clever Girls Know podcast everywhere you listen to your podcast episodes. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you next time.